All right, guys, welcome to the THL. Thanks for joining us. This afternoon, we've got Domonique Rodgers here in the studio with us, and we are going to do some phone training.
Pumped.
Oh, I mean, my God, we've been going at this thing for a minute, right?
Yes.
And we were talking about like those first couple meetings we had here, and man, we were doing our thing on these phones, weren't we?
We had to.
That's right.
We had to.
I mean, getting good at the phones was like, it wasn't an option for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just not an option not to be good on the phones. It just is what it is. Yeah. And I don't know. We just kind of made it fun. So,
it's one thing I learned about the phones, Jamie, is that you have to make it fun. You know, I don't know anybody who's innately excited to call strangers.
Yeah.
And, you know, to deal with rejection. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, I stopped playing basketball because I was like, I'm not like good at this. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm supposed to be good at this. This is not working out. Like, so it's easy to not push through things you're not too good at or comfortable with, you know, and not think it's necessary or no. There ain't no think about the phone, right? You don't think about the phone. You know, we know the phone is where everything starts. The phone is where all the confidence comes from. But before the phone, you got to have the leads in order to have the confidence on the phone.
Yeah. Well, and the good news is that anybody can get good on the phones.
Yep.
I don't care where you are, where you're from, what your background is. Like, I was bad on the phones out of the gate. But I just made my mind up. This was not going to be me. I was definitely going to get good at this in a hurry.
Yeah. It's one of those things that there's a lot of variables that go into being great in the home, you know? And I never really considered myself as like a killer closer or, you know, I just always had enough people to get in front of though. And then the numbers and families help makes it look like, oh, you're so good. But I think when we break down, you know, the objective here with what we're trying to do is get in front of them. And I'm an in-person model guy. So if you're looking at a phone training on telesales, you can stop it. I don't know that. I'm not saying like this is me, but there's hundreds of people who do know that and kill it there.
Yeah.
But for the agents who go, you know what, I'm cool with getting in front of people. I want to get in front of people. Even if you don't want to get in front of people, but you know it's probably the better route for you, this is for you. You know, we're selling contact.
Yeah.
And I believe when things start to become more than just contact, that's where it gets tough to be getting the number of appointments that you need. You know?
Well, and I think too, even if you're doing telesales, there's something to learn from this podcast here because how you speak to people, your confidence, even when you might not have much confidence.
100%.
Your posture, your cadence, a lot of those things do carry over to telesales. Yep. So just because we're setting appointments to get in front of people, that's just a script.
Correct.
The rest of the stuff, I think people glass over and they kind of forget that that's actually a lot more important, right? Matching, you know, like I always say, like, you're not going to get the same Jamie every person picks up the phone. Like, if it's grandma, she's getting soft Jamie. Yep. If it's truck driver, she's getting, like, you know what I mean, hardcore Jamie. Like, you're not getting. So with telesales, I feel like you can use those same tips, techniques as well, even if you're doing a telesale.
You're so right. You're so right. The basics is the same. Like, we just did a training on how to get people to pick up the phone. It don't matter if you're doing telesales or in-person sales. You need folks to pick up the phone. You know, you want, you know, there's meeting people where they are. That's so big, regardless of who you like. You just said it. You hear a different person every time. It's like my mom when I'm growing up. I knew who she was talking to on the phone based on how she was talking. I just knew it. I was just like, oh, that's your friend Deborah. Oh, that's your person from work. That's Carl. Okay, got it. Oh, so I was like, why do you do that? She goes, dude, I have to meet people where I was, even as a kid, you know? And then when I got here, I heard it from Sean and I was like, this is what my mom was talking about. And I used to like make fun of her. You know what I mean? I used to be like, Mom, that's not how you talk. You know, like, and then I'd be like, oh, but she's effective. You know what I mean? And my mom was still is a hairstylist in a how many multicultural salons
Oh yeah.
have you been to? That like she'll be doing braids over here and doing a old lady's perm over here. You know what I mean? It's just, but in order to serve everyone, you've got to be a chameleon. And on the phone, we all have that ability. It's not a male female thing. It's none of that. It's not a black, white, rich, poor. It's none of that on the phone, which is why I say we got to work to be great on the phone. Work to be great on the phone, because everybody could be great on the phone. And if anybody goes, they're great on the in-home, I think they're a little full of themselves. Okay. It's really about getting in front of the people. So that was a great point. You're 100% right with that, because the basics, they don't change.
Well, and I think too, people make it difficult on themselves when they don't meet people where they are as soon as they pick up the phone. See, if you sound like a script, a telemarketer, a salesperson, a customer service rep, you're dead in the water. But if you sound like somebody who kind of knows somebody, we have sort of a connection, it's sort of casual, now they're intrigued, they're going to keep you on the line. See, if you're getting hung up on pretty quickly, it's probably because you don't sound relatable to that person. And you need to sound relatable to that person in probably the first 3 seconds.
Huge.
Let's role play. Let's kind of, so go ahead and answer the phone kind of like an older gentleman.
Okay. Well, how about I'll just do it and you just respond.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So ring.
Hello.
Who's this?
Hey, Mr. Dom?
Yeah.
Mr. Dom, hey there, this is Jaime Eufemia giving you a quick call, Benefit Center. Hey, listen, name's not going to ring a bell. Looks like you went online and inquired about some basic insurance stuff. You got a few minutes?
Yeah, I do. I think I remember doing that.
Okay, so that's like an older gentleman, right? Kind of brash, like, but he's gotta feel comfortable with me right out of the gate. If I sounded like a salesperson or a telemarketer, I'm dead. I'm dead in the wall. Like, he's hung up on me already. Yep. I needed to kind of sound relatable, slang, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to sound perfect. I need to sound like somebody who would be calling him that he almost kind of knows.
Correct. It's huge. Let's try another one. All right, ring. Hello.
Hi, Miss Mary?
Yes.
Miss Mary, hi there. This is Jaime Eufemia giving you a quick call, Benefit Center. Just calling you back. Looks like you had filled out some information online about some basic insurance information, and our office was just assigned to help you out. They've got me in Baltimore tomorrow. I've got a few slots that are still open. Miss Mary, are you working, retired, disabled?
I'm retired.
Okay, perfect. And we'll go into the set.
See, I love that you brought this part up, because it's when they say hello, we have to be so attentive to how they're saying it. You know what? I'm thinking about, like, when I wasn't doing that, what was I thinking? I was so locked in on what I had to say.
Yeah.
I was so locked in on not getting, I didn't feel that out, that I didn't hear how they answered the phone. And I remember I was in Connecticut one time, dialing the phone. Sean's walking by, and I'm literally going back and forth with this lady. You did fill it out. Da, 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 da. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, I'm trying to book an appointment. He goes, hang up. Hung up the phone.
You hung up on her.
He just hung up. He just told me to hang up. He was like, dude, you're doing no good right now. Hang up.
I love it.
So hung it up. He calls her back immediately. Calls her back. Hello? Oh, no. She picked up the phone. She was ticked off already. Hold on. So she picked up the phone. I just hung up on you. Sean goes, yeah, I heard. But we actually got rid of him. You know, there was some, issues there. But it seems here you wanted some information on your state regulated life insurance. Our job is simple. We're not going to send the guy you were just talking to out, but we're going to send another guy out, and he's going to come out and get you that and see if you qualify. It's only going to take 5-10 minutes. Books the appointment. Yeah. And I'm like, I just sat there arguing with her, and you come in with and my argument was, yes, you did. Why would you fill this out if you sent it? He just goes, no problem. Stays that way, brings her down. So you start there. If they pick up the phone and they sound like they just got off a jackhammer. Hello? Jared? Yeah, this is Jared. Who's this? This is Dom. I'm giving you a call back about the insurance you requested. Next thing you know, you do it like that, he comes down.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come down to, the whole conversation isn't going to be like that.
Mm-mm.
You know, just like with, hello, the whole conversation isn't going to be this nice passive, I'm going to meet her there, and I'm going to bring her up to the level of where we need to be to set the appointment, you know? And if we're so locked in on how to not get objections, we're going to miss that stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to miss it all. So that's massive.
And what you focus on, you get more of.
Yeah.
So if you're focused on getting objections, you're going to probably get a bunch.
Yeah.
So let's focus more on the client and their tonality versus objections that you might or might not ever get.
To go along with meeting them where they are, how important is it just to say their first name?
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I said Mr. or Mrs. because you sounded older on both.
I get, yes, 100, yes.
Now, if you sounded more my age, I'm like, Dom, hey, Dom, Jamie over here giving you a quick call, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because you sounded older than me as a respect kind of thing, because the way I was kind of brought up, I went Mr. or Mrs. on that, but only first name.
It's yes. Okay, it's not Mrs. Janie Robinson. It's
or
not
Mrs.
Miss
Robinson, right?
It's, hey, Miss Janie.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and it's
that,
slang. It's kind of like halfway, like.
Yes, not this. When you call somebody up and it's like, hi, is this Jamie? Hi, is this? You can't even say her last name right. If some of us try to say it, like you're shooting yourself in the foot. If a guy picks up the phone and it says George Williams on the lead, you know what I'm doing? He says hello, I'm going George. Mm-hmm. Now this is tricky, and don't take this the wrong way, because when I started, I had to just say the first name. I didn't have the confidence to say, hi, James, or hey, James. It was coming off too, it was making me kind of salesy. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't comfortable in there, you know? So I just had to say the first name. Now, as you get a little bit more comfortable, you may be able to say, hey, Jamie. You know what I mean? Don't ever ask how they're doing. Mm-mm. Okay, how's it going? Oh, that's a why. Oh man, that's so bad. Like, don't do that, because my response would be terrible now that you called me. You know, versus just assuming everything. So first name, and then confirm. Where do you say you're calling from? How's that work? Because I know there's some confusion with.
I mean, if it's mortgage protection center, if it's a internet or final expense benefit center.
Benefit center. Okay. I like that. That's the same thing I do. What if I've heard some agents talk about, well, is that real? You know, what is the benefit center? What is the mortgage protection center? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Give us some confidence there to where it's not, you know, because sometimes folks don't do stuff because they feel it's wrong. Like, it's not, you know, it's unethical. Does that make sense? Or just.
I mean, I believe that when you're actually in an office, right? Somewhere, a place that you're actually calling from, it definitely feels more believable that you're actually calling from a place like our office. Our office was assigned to help you out. We help people with all kinds of benefits.
Correct.
Here. So benefit center just seemed comfortable for me. Family First Life didn't seem comfortable because I felt like I was stapled to one thing. Mm-hmm. But benefit center, I could be helping with benefits of retirement benefits, you know, final expense benefits, mortgage protection, traditional life insurance.
Yeah.
It's an array of things. So
I think we get a little bit too literal.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's it. Like we get a little bit too like when I say, hey, I'm going to drop something off to your house. I've had folks go, well, what do you drop off? I'm like, oh man, we're selling contact. And I don't believe people are that stupid. Mm-mm. I just don't. And if the client asks me, what are you going to drop off? Like, it's going to be a 6-foot black dude. You cool with that? They laugh.
Yep.
Because they realize that was a dumb question. Like, he's going to come over and give me insurance, obviously.
Right. Because I put the request in.
Because that's what I put the request in. So sometimes you have to say, like, irrational things. You can't, you don't handle irrational behavior trying to be rational. No. It's like, okay, well, you're going to say that? Well, let me just say, like, how long you been doing this? I've been doing this 23 years. I was 23 when I started. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, why'd you ask me that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. But getting them to chuckle a little bit will help when you get there.
Yes.
It'll help them be there, right? Because now they feel a little bit more comfortable. Okay. So, mindset.
Yeah.
You kind of were just kind of going down that road a little bit just now. So we always say that 80% of this thing is mindset. You know, whatever flows in is going to flow out. Yep. So if you believe you can do it, then you can do it. If you believe you can't do it, you're probably right too. Yep. And part of getting really good at this thing is making sure before you even start getting on the phones that you got the proper mindset.
Yeah.
And that might, you know, it could mean a bunch of different. For me, some days it was like listening to freaking hardcore rap on the way in. Some days it was listening to gospel music, like just giving praise and worship. But whatever works for you, you better get your mind right before you pick up those phones.
That's it. I remember Sean had a training. You probably remember this. It was on it was one of those CDs that we used to get. DVDs, Blu-rays. Look, he had a training on what he did to prepare to dial. Okay, I think a lot of us get into the script, and that's kind of like where we're at today. We're talking like let's get into what are some things that you can just change right now, you know? And he went over his self-talk. Okay. And some people may think this is corny. I thought it was corny when I first heard it. And then when I saw him and met him, I was like, dude, if that's corny, then corny works, dude. I'm in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he would take the lead. All right, take the lead. And if you're working internet leads, right? Just print off one or take your whole sheet, okay? Sit in front of the mirror, all right? Hold your lead up, look in the mirror, and talk to yourself. See, self-talk is cool after you've practiced talking to yourself in front of a mirror. Because after some time, like today, I don't need to do the self-talk in front of the mirror. If it's something different, like my family, relationship, kids, and I'm in that space now to where I got to get back in front of the mirror because I got to look at myself and be like, these are new things that you're doing. These are new. But when it comes to the phone now, I still have the self-talk. But when I started, it was, they want this. Why would Mary put her first and last name and whether she has a DUI on it or not if she didn't want it? This is her address. They will pick up. I'm the best person to do this. If I don't get out there today and get contact today, they could die tomorrow. Every day. Every dial session. All right. And when you start your dial sessions, it's like every day. So maybe you should be doing this every day. You know, you're in your car dialing, look in your rearview mirror. Do it. Do it and keep doing it. And then hit me up and be like, dude, that didn't work. I just never seen it not work. Somebody asked me, they go, well, how do you know positivity works? I go, I don't know.
Well, I know negativity don't work.
I'm 100% sure being negative don't work though. Okay. Like, can anybody dispute that? And they're like, nope, I can't. So let's just err on the side of being positive. Let's just do that. Yeah. You know, talk to yourself into, if you think they didn't really fill it out or they don't want the insurance, tell yourself that they did. Okay, if you think old leads are terrible, tell yourself this is the best lead ever. And you keep telling yourself that, you start believing it. The best talk is yours. So that's my mindset. No
matter if you're talking to yourself out loud or not, you're still talking to yourself. Yeah. And whatever you're telling yourself, you're believing. So you might as well tell it the right, good things that are positive. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about objections.
Yeah.
Okay, because, you know, listen, you can get less.
Yes.
If you do the thing that we were just talking about a few minutes ago about meeting people where they are and not sounding like a robot or sounding the same for everybody. But we're still going to get them.
Yep.
I mean, there's still going to be people who filled out a form online and then they didn't get a response straight away. So they went to another form and filled it out and another form. And then maybe those other places might have sold it 5 times. So there's still going to be people who say, I already took care of it. I'm not interested. Yep. I don't have time right now. Yep. Right? So let's, I think sometimes too, like people are so rehearsed on the script that like they don't like practice like common objections. It's like, let's practice those the way we practice the front end because they're going to come. I mean, if you're using, you know, older leads or whatever, 60% of the time you're going to get an objection that you have to overcome. Whether you overcome it or not is going to be a determinant of if you've practiced overcoming objections because most people aren't they're not quick on their feet. And they don't know, they don't have just like this dialogue that they normally just handle objections all the time. Correct. You have to practice.
Have to. You're so right. You hit that on a great point. Like, it's just not going to come out of you.
No.
It's just not. You know, you gotta try. I'd actually like called. I used to tell my mom when I started. I was like, you may just get a call from me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I need you to play along, say whatever you want, but don't be surprised if I just call you at my sister's. Mm-hmm. Dude, they knew. They were like, yeah, Dom maybe just calling me and like I'm just gonna make up something. It's not a good time for me or something like that, and I can practice on them. You're right. I think a lot of folks watch a lot of YouTube videos, but they don't practice it.
Yeah. You know? Well, and then what usually comes out is sounds salesy or sleazy, like, oh, well, I could probably save you some money. And I'm like, whoa, slow down. Like,
I've never said that.
Oh my gosh.
I've never said. I was on Live Dials the other day and I heard somebody. I love him for it because he unmuted himself and did this is good. This is not making fun of nobody. He needed to unmute himself so we could hear this.
Yes.
Okay. And he goes. They say, I'm not interested in that anymore. And his response is, it seems appropriate, is, well, you don't care about your family? I go, oh, man. That's the insurance guy who goes, I make them believe I'm pulling up the hearse to their house. And I'm like, what? Like, this is so weird. Like, what are we doing, dude? Like, just get them what they asked for. Right. So, but we walked them through it. And I was like, when they say they don't want it or, they're not interested in that anymore, dude, your response is you're not interested either. Do you know what I mean? Like, that be clear. There's a multitude of different ways to overcome objections. But the key is be quick and confident. Mm-hmm. If you're quick and confident, honestly, you could say whatever. They'd be like, well, I don't want that. You'd be like, yeah, well, I got a baseball game tomorrow at 2:00. But anyways, I'm going to be there at 3. You'd be like, dude, I had nothing to do with them, but I said it quick and I was confident and I got them to the next step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yes, there are some good things to say, but if you are moving with it and you know that whatever they're saying, see, this is where that whole belief thing, that mindset and that self-talk comes in. I know they want it. Why would Mary fill this out? Why would she put her height and weight? Why would they put 2 phone numbers on me for her? Yeah. When you put that in there and you believe it, when they say that they're not interested, they don't want it, you don't buy into it. You don't start fighting it. You just go, okay, whatever, move on. Mm-hmm. And you keep it going. Let's do some throw some out there. Like, what are some things that
so
happen?
Let's use the most common. I feel like already took care of it.
Great. Makes my job a lot easier. Okay. If you could, did you already get the policy in the mail back yet?
No, not yet.
You didn't. Oof. Okay. So what I'm going to do, all right, I'm going to bring over some information on you. For you. Okay. And then once that one comes in, you can compare and contrast because I'm pretty sure you filled out these forms just to make sure that you're getting the best value for your insurance. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, cool. So tomorrow at 4:00, I'll swing by there. If you do get it in the mail before then, okay, just have it out. If not, we can just call the company and get the info.
Okay.
See you tomorrow. Let's do another one.
Okay. I've gotten like 5 calls about this. I'm not interested.
Great. All right. Do you want me to stop calling you?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. Because if we have to keep calling you, they're probably just going to send somebody over to your house and just knock on your door. My job is just to get this out to you. All right. Whatever you do with it after that, Jamie, is totally up to you. But I just have to get this to you so we're not liable for anything. So tomorrow at 3:00, there's any reason you won't be home?
Yeah, I don't get home till 4.
You don't get home till 4. Okay. I got one at 4 and 4:30. 5:00, I'm going to drop this off to you. We'll be out of your hair. Okay.
Okay.
Some folks would think that was a weak appointment. I think it's a great appointment because I know she's going to be there. It's not because I believe that no matter what they say after they fill out the form, they still filled out the form.
Yeah.
They still filled out the form. So all that stuff doesn't matter. What's another one?
I don't have time to do this right now. I'm at work.
Great. I don't have much time either. What time do you get off of work?
5:00.
5:00 every day?
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. All right, cool. Well, tomorrow's Wednesday. I got a 5. You're home by 6, right?
Yeah.
All right. What I'm going to do, instead of calling you, I'm just come by there at 6 and drop this off to you, okay? Have a good day at work.
All right.
Boom. And that's honestly, when you start getting those quick sets down, that's 30% of your appointments. That's going to take you from booking 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 to 6, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And that's how close a lot of us are to being great on the phone. We're that close. Yeah. There's not too many people. I got 10 people to pick up. I booked none. Like really? Like that? But you're in this 2, 3, 4 out of 10. And you're just not getting those ones, and you get hung up on they're at work, or now's not a good time to call, or things like that. What if we got Memorial Day coming up, right?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out on this, you handled the objection, but moved straight to the set. I think sometimes people handle the objection, they feel real proud of themselves, but then they pause and wait for like almost the person to be okay with what they just said.
Correct.
Instead of moving straight back into the set. Like it's like kind of like they're waiting for the person to like, oh, well, since you said you would come by, since you said that, yeah, Dom, come on over. No. They're never gonna say that. They're gonna say they're almost waiting for something else. And now you almost have to redirect their brain back to the set.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking about what they just said, like, I'm not interested. Well, everybody says that. Mm-hmm. But now, since you redirected them back to the schedule, what time you get off work? You handled it, but moved straight back to the set. All they can think about right now is the set. They've already forgotten that they said they weren't interested. Yeah. And now you're back in control because the person asking the questions is in control, and that means you're going to be in charge of setting the appointment.
Right. And close-ended questions.
Yeah.
You know, like... Are you working or retired? You know, are you disabled? Are you married or are you single? You know, do you have a partner? Do any of your kids, the older they get, all right? Do any of your kids live with you? You know what I mean? Just be very, and you also, to get into that quick set, right? I know I didn't say some things in there, so somebody's might be like, well, how do you confirm if they're both there or not? Be clear, when we're in there, like you're gonna do all that. Okay, you're definitely gonna confirm. Are they both gonna be home? Are you married, single, widowed? All that. Okay, but we're just kind of moving with the objection right now. But just to be clear, because I know somebody like, well, how do you do that? Like, yeah, I got you. All right.
Yeah. And you're saying it in a way that's very concise, direct, but almost like you're lending the conversation back to them. Right. Like you're saying, like, you working, retired, disabled. Like I'm lending, like now it's your turn.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, some people like say it so like deliberately. It's like you sound too much like a robot when you're saying this. So you're getting a lot of like, not interested again. Like, don't say it like that. Say it in a way that's lendful so they actually won't reply with what you want them to reply with.
Right.
So, all right, last couple things. When we're dialing, you kind of talked a little bit about it before about getting people on the phone.
Yeah.
And, you know, at least for me, and I know for you, we're aggressive with dialing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we don't just take, you know, all 150 leads that we just got off the CRM and just blast right on through all 150 one time. Right. Like, in order for your pickup ratio to be high, you need to have people see your number show up a bunch for the day.
Correct.
Can you kind of hit on what that looks like?
Yeah. A lot of us have, or we were trained, our training has to change because the times have changed. When we started, we were getting 10, 15, maybe 20 leads a week. We're excited about it.
Yeah.
And we squeezed it out of there, right? Mm-hmm. And so we had to call a bunch. And so we had this thing of make 300 calls, 400 calls, right? And with 20 leads, that's a lot of calls. So today, if we go, hey, make 400 calls, that's not accurate because you got 100 leads in front of you. So you can call them all. If you take the Easton Patton method and call them all 3 times in a row on 100 leads, you just made 300 dials. But you know how many appointments you're going to have after that? 2, 3. And you're going to be like, your leads suck, these suck, yada, yada. We have to know what to expect. Okay. And with internet leads specifically, you're going to get there's a reason they're $9 and $11. I think we get confused. I'm like, this is not a $90 lead. This is $11, $90, which means that there's going to be stuff. People are going to say stuff. Their number's not going to work sometimes. It is what it is. So, but take 20 to 30, no more than 30 out at a time and call those. And I have a way to go through them, but in reality, the objective is get half of them, 40 to 50% of them to pick up before you move on to the next 30. If you can do that, I don't care if you call them all once and you just keep repeating, whatever, I don't care. But just do it fast and intentful to where you can take those 30 leads and get about 50% of them to pick up within an hour. And if you're not getting 15 pickups an hour, I don't care what type of lead you're calling, that's not good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you got to be booking 10 an hour. Like, that's, can you? Yes. Okay. But but the goal, all of us can have a goal of, can I get 10 people to pick up this hour? Mm-hmm. Everybody can.
Yeah.
So, and that's just calling, they don't pick up the second, third, fourth time. They pick up like the 6th, 7th, 8th within an hour. Mm-hmm. You're like, that's a lot. I know, but not to them though, because they fill out other stuff too. Be clear. I've figured out over the years is that these folks, they're just form filler outers. Okay. They fill out stuff. They get a call from this thing, that thing, that thing. When you're in an appointment, that's one thing I love about being in the home is that when you're there, their phone rings like 10 times and they don't even flinch.
Yeah.
You know, not at all. They're just like, oh, I'm like, oh my God, that's why you weren't picking up.
Well, and I think of it like if that was my mom who filled out a form and I was going to be liable for a $20,000 funeral and somebody didn't have the courage to actually call her several times to try to help her out and give her the coverage, I'd be a little bit discouraged that it come out of pocket for, for 20 grand. Yeah. Because she actually requested. Now, if she didn't request it, that's a whole different ballgame. But she actually raised her hand and said, can somebody help me with the coverage? Because I don't know how to get it. Yeah. And then the agent was too mousy not to, call him a bunch of times because it can be life or death, right? Tomorrow isn't promised. Yeah. So if you kind of treat it that way, I'll leave you guys with this. When you're dialing, never leave your dial session on a negative. That was one thing that I don't care if I had my full day like set and I was just trying to get like a last cup. Like always end a dial session on a positive. I don't, some people quit too soon, and so this thing is just how many wins can we get as quickly as possible? And wins are appointments set really in this game that we're talking about. Don't end on a negative. Don't, and I mean end like go to the bathroom and like get your lunch and like take a 2-hour break. Like don't end with somebody who just cussed you out. Mm-hmm. Hurry up and get another positive because it will help you get to the next dial session. Right.
And into your appointment, into your run day. You when the phone feels heavy, that's when you should be doing it. When you get this fire to dial, it typically comes with lead flow. Okay. I was forced to get better on the phone because I had leads coming in, and you don't want to be in a spot to where I'm still going to call those leads from last week. And, then you have all this whole stack of leads that you didn't effectively call. So I double down on your leads. You're like, I'm not doing very good on the phone. Okay, cool. We'll get twice as many leads. Mm-hmm. Well, I ain't made no money. Well, I know you want to start making money and feeling more confident. Just get more leads. That there's nothing, and be clear, Family First Life gets nothing from you buying leads. It's about you having the confidence to get through the crap. Because it's going to come. It's going to come. And like Jaime says, you finish strong, you'll start strong. And there ain't too many times that you're going to finish not on top and, you're going to sleep on that. You may have dreams about it. It's like, that's not good. Because
that little voice of whatever that lady just said is going to be marinating in your brain. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be talking about it. You're going to think about it the next person. It's a cycle.
And the win might be Mary hung up on you. And the win for you to leave on a positive note would be to call her right back. Mm-hmm. Call her right back. It's not about did I book it? Did you do something that you don't normally do? Did you call her back and say, hey, we got disconnected? And she goes, no, we didn't get disconnected. I hung up on you. Yeah, I know. You probably thought I was a telemarketer or something. But I'm the guy who you sent the request to for life insurance, not the telemarketer. All right, so here's what we're going to do. And then she hangs up on you again. That's a win. That's a win.
Yeah.
Like you did
everything you could.
You did what you could versus going,
okay,
that's
thanks,
my
bye.
day. Okay, let's just pack up and let's just go home on that one. It's like find ways to get uncomfortable. Find ways to challenge yourself. I would find it practice when people hung up on me and call them back. I'm like, this is practice. This is free practice right here. I can try those objections. I was like, I already bought the lead. So why would I wait until the new one that I haven't messed up yet to try it out? Let me just call them back and try it out. And then that's the practice. That's a lot of free practice there. Paid practice, actually. Yeah. You know what I mean? But a lot of practice there, but challenge yourself. And the biggest thing, get selfish with it because you're going to get the most out of calling that person back. you're going to get the most out of it. It becomes when you get on your way to getting great on the phone, you got to be thinking about how you're going to feel. And if you feeling bad going into your next call is what you're having, then you got to not stop dialing, but figure out what you did there. There's something there that you can do. You can call them back. You can shoot them a text. There's something you can do to go into that next call, not thinking, man, like why didn't I do that? Like, what did I say? If you think of something that you could have said, call them back and say it. You're like, that's weird. I don't know. Let's try it out. So it's a lot that you hit on a lot of great things today. This has been fun.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to have some more Friday phone tips coming for you guys, and appreciate you guys jumping on the call today. Thanks, Dom.
Thank you.